All right, we are live once again, and it is another episode of Chiropractic is Sexy. I am Dr. Paula Ruffin.
I'm Dr. Erica Peabody, and it's another Thursday. It's crazy.
It's
We'll see.
amazing how it seems to go by like in a week. Oh,
Faster than that. It seems so fast.
Well, and we have lots to unpack today. And as you know, when we bring these topics to you, it's usually because Dr. Erica and I have had some kind of experience recently with a patient. So we want to wrap our lessons in the stories that we see in order to be able to help you maybe see yourself in what we're talking about and also see yourself within chiropractic. And our topic today is talking all about how we have been conditioned to think that we are deficient in Advil and Tylenol, and that it is just okay to walk into a drugstore and grab something off the shelf, assume it's safe, but not ask the question, why is this happening and what could be the downstream effects of doing this? So this is what we are here to unpack for you today.
It's not even that. It's more than that. It's like if you are taking painkillers on the daily basis, whoever you are, no matter what, you should be questioning it. So it's like, it's not even that go into the store and grab something. It's like, think about your day. I asked the patient, we had a new one this morning, and it's like, okay, so if you're on pain medications, like, they'll say, occasionally I'll take something. I'm like, is occasionally like once a couple days? Is it like once a week? Or because some people's occasionally will be like
once a day. Yeah.
Or once a day or even twice a week. And it's like, wait, what are we doing? Hi, Tio Mimo. Are we deficient in poppy paste? So yeah, there is always.
I thought it said poopy.
Poppy.
Okay.
We really need to be questioning, like, if that's a regular part of your life, why? Number one. Number two, it's never safe. So again, why? And figure out something that's a safer alternative. And we do not preach about chiropractic being only for pain and suffering and stuff like that. However, we're also really good at it. Like, we're really, really good at helping with that. We're really good at helping with lots of things, but it's not, there's a pain button on off. We're just optimizing the body. So I just want you to know that we're really good at that. So this is an option that's not going to tear apart your internal organs, which is sort of where it started from.
And that's the problem, is that people don't realize how damaging these medications, even just one a week, that's it, just one a week, how damaging that is to your microbiome, to your overall digestive system in general. Like taking aspirin, I don't like this whole like daily baby aspirin. You guys, that was a marketing strategy by Bayer to get people to take more of their product. The study was, it's like any of the other studies that supposedly support the medications. It just got people to start taking it all by themselves. So what happened was that, Bayer aspirin thins the blood. And so then there was this assumption that, well, if you have cardiovascular risk, that you should thin your blood so you don't get hardening of the arteries. We're going back to, 1980s when hardening of the arteries, that was a big, that's when that term really came about. And people started taking aspirin on the daily, and they were like, oh, like young people were like, well, I don't want to get a heart attack. I'm going to start taking aspirin now. And so young people started taking aspirin, older people started taking aspirin daily, and it became the number one cause of gastric ulcers. And so people were having internal bleeding from taking aspirin every day to try to prevent a heart attack. So we have to ask ourselves, what the heck is happening if you are, first of all, if you're having chronic pain, but there is no drug or medication that you should be taking each and every day just for prevention. No drugs do that. That's not a drug thing. Now, if you have high blood pressure and you're taking high blood pressure medication, you're preventing high blood pressure. So let's not mix what I'm saying. My whole point is that if you're taking aspirin because you're trying to prevent heart disease, that those don't match. There are more studies on fish oil
Right.
helping with blood viscosity and with cardiovascular health without any detrimental effects to the human body.
Fish oil and vitamin C is a rather clearer cleaning of the blood there too. So yeah, we'll totally take your comments. Absolutely, Tio. We're just glad you're here. So thanks for sharing. So this came because I was at a music festival last weekend with I have vintage Volkswagen buses, and there's a music festival on the west side of Michigan. And if you know the west side of the state, it's a beautiful place. And although it wasn't all that warm, I was hanging with friends, and there was this woman that was talking about on June 5th, she's going in for a breast reduction. And it was like, oh, and I just happened to be in this conversation. So it wasn't anything that she was telling me in particular. I was just in a group of like 5 women, and we were talking about it. And she said, yes, so my spine has been dealing with and trying to work with so much heaviness and a full chested, like it kind of is like a seesaw with the muscles of the upper back and the muscles of the chest, or the weight in the chest. So the spine was really affected by it. And also probably, I'm thinking just bra straps in general, if you have a really heavy chest, but also the neck. And so this is how it all started. She went to get a regular yearly physical, which I always question as well, last November. And her blood markers were off the charts terrible. And her kidneys were functioning around 40%. So they were getting severely damaged. So the MD decided to check into a little bit further what was happening with her body. And she had been taking ibuprofen daily or multiple times a day for years. And it had almost destroyed, like once you get down to 40% kidney function, although the kidneys are relatively regenerative organs, it's like that's what she was doing to manage the pain. And what it did was destroy her visceral organs, like her and kidneys and liver. Those are the two highly destructive with any kind of medications, because they're filtering systems, right? So anyway, she also happenstance said she got a new job in Fenton. She drives like 40 minutes, but she's like, I drive past your building all the time. It's so beautiful. That was a different separate conversation we were having. And it was like, put 2 and 2 together and come get adjusted. Instead of taking Advil, ibuprofen, Tylenol, whatever, everybody kind of has Tylenol on their radar now just because of what went on, right, of the last year. But it's like, you guys, we cannot continue to live that way, knowing that much destruction was going on from simply taking ibuprofen. And you probably could get a big bottle of ibuprofen that would solve you for an entire year at Costco for maybe $15 or something. That is not a solution. So even though she got off of it, now she's in severe amounts of pain. So now her next move is to get a breast reduction, which I can understand some people's angles, but it wasn't my place to say, try chiropractic. Why don't you try pulling into the parking lot that you pass daily, 5 days a week, but it wasn't my time and place. I was just hanging with friends. So I'm not going, people will walk up to Dr. Paula and I, and ask us questions about their health when we're not on. And so I'm not going to willfully offer that. I may reach out to her and say, this is a really safe place to start care. It's a really safe way to get going. But what's your body going to do over the next 10, 20, 30, or 40 years?
Mm-hmm.
The kidneys have regenerated quite a bit. I think her function is back up in the 70s, but like there's permanent damage done there. And that is not without risk to take any of that stuff.
Well, and I wonder, first of all, I think I'm going to disagree with you that Tylenol is on people's radar. I think because it's been so many years that people have been led to believe that Tylenol is fine to take wherever, whenever, that I think a lot of people, like my patient, who I'll tell you about in a minute, I think people like him are like, I've been taking it for years and I'm fine. I'm going to keep taking it. So I think there's a lot of that too. And then you probably have people who maybe Tylenol did raise their spidey senses and they're like, well, then I'm going to take Advil.
Something
And so
else.
they just like swapped one for the other. It's like, oh, I'm going to drink Diet 7 Up instead of Diet Coke. And, we can't replace it like that.
Right.
And this particular patient that I am working with, he has a lot of cardiovascular issues. He's got some kidney disease, and he says he only takes Tylenol for headaches. And I said, well, I said something about, what about your kidneys? And he's like, oh no, I just take the Tylenol for my headaches. Like and at a certain point, even when they are our patients, there's a certain level of dogma that we are not going to break through. It's like, okay, he's here for a certain thing. I'm going to stick with that lane with him. He's like 80. I'm not going to be able to educate him past where he's at. And so he's going to keep taking Tylenol every day, waking up with a headache. And I just take it for headaches. And the way he was saying it was we've talked about how people minimize their things. I just take it for headaches. I don't take it for anything else. I just take it for headaches each and every freaking day. Well, you're not feeling anything else because you're taking it every day. So you're just masking those headaches. And so then the question is, well, why? Why are you waking up every day with headaches? Not which medication should I take? Why are you waking up every day with headaches? And so that's the question that we want you to start asking yourselves, is even if you're on prescription medication, and I'll just preface again by saying we're not telling you to go off your prescription medication. However, if you're on prescription medication, let's just say it is high blood pressure medication. What are you doing for yourself to improve that situation? And if you tell me I'm avoiding salt, I might just be like, have you ever known anybody that's avoided salt and gotten off their high blood pressure medication? No, because salt is not the demon. It is the inflammatory diets. It's the lack of exercise. It's the lack of proper sleep. It's the overstressed out world that we're living in that is driving your cardiovascular system to be inflamed. And then you're like, oh, but I need a medication. But maybe you should meditate. Maybe you should do that.
Yeah, I always go back to, this sits right by my desk. So this was that I've talked about her before, 135 pounds. She was born in 1944. So but I don't know what that makes her, 78. I'm not sure, or 88 maybe. Anyway, this is the list of medications. So it probably won't. Oh, there we go. The list of medications, and and she's petite, and she is pain from head to toe. And at the very bottom, after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 daily medications, or multiple times a day, we've got 25 or 1,000 IU of vitamin D. That's the only supplement. And now I can't say that a patient that has this going on has any kind of nutrition going into their body whatsoever. Like Dr. Paula said, it's the things that we eat. It's the things that we don't eat. It's the processed everything that creates. I always talk about, like, if there's something going on in the body and you put inflammatory food and things inside the body on top of that, it's like setting small bonfires like everywhere throughout the body. And we can't do that and expect to feel well and not get to a diseased place, which then leads towards disease. So anyway, I'm just like, how can we get this message out in a bigger, stronger way? But the best we can do is just come to you guys every week and make sure that we are sharing what's the most relevant in our weeks this week, like right off of my adjusting floor, right into here to share. So yeah.
Well, we also have to remember, so taking into account lifestyle for sure, but then when you take any kind of medication, over the counter prescription or what have you, it is going to cause a depletion of your nutrients. And
Hmm.
one of the excuse me, one of the biggest things that the nonsteroidal anti-inflammatories do, the NSAIDs, the Advils and the like, is they deplete glutathione. And glutathione is like it's the mother of all antioxidants in your body. It is what helps your brain function. It is so critical to how we think, how we experience life. People who have anxiety and depression, they usually don't have enough glutathione in their brain. We get depleted of our B vitamins, which are also key for brain and nerve function. So we start to then connect the dots to say, well, you're in pain every day because you don't have your proper nutrients. You've depleted your body after years of taking these things, and now you're expecting your body to run. It's like putting water in your car's engine. It's not going to run the way you need to. So it's really key to start recognizing that. And then people will say, oh, but I take a multivitamin. Well, and then they're probably taking some crap multivitamin from CVS or Walmart or some other big box store.
Silver.
Oh, but I buy it from Costco. It's not, you guys, these are not high quality supplements. And this is Dr. Eric and I, we each sell two different brands. We each represent two different brands in our offices. I fully agree with the brand, with the line that she reps, and she fully agrees with the one I rep. They're both super high quality lines, but they're doctor prescribed for a reason, because you're going into the store, you're buying an over the counter medication, and then you're going over and you're buying some crap supplement sitting right next to it that is so low in nutrients. I had a patient bring in her fish oil the other day, and we need at least 1,500 milligrams or units, or however it's measured, of EPA and DHA, which are the highest, the main omegas that we look for. And this particular product had like 10 and 35 EPA, DHA. And I was like, you know how many you have to take of those to actually like have it have any kind of effect in your body? So don't waste money on the cheap stuff, because it's even more expensive when it doesn't do anything for you.
Well, yeah. And speaking of fish oil, I mean, people will say, oh, I don't take fish oil because I burp it up and I burp up fish. That means whatever fish oil you took is rancid already and
Mm-hmm.
not functioning properly in the body. It should never be that way. The fish oil that you can get from either one of us, you're going to be able to take the capsule and bite it and let it just, out of its capsule, and not like it has like a lemony flavor. And actually, I have three different brands of supplements that I offer here in the office, but I have just a particular assortment because I love this bee over here, and I love this cod liver oil over here, and I love this multivitamin, and I love this magnesium. And so I have a few different ones, but we also each are on full script, which if you need anything, let either one of us know, because they will drop ship directly to you and you'll have the highest quality that you can get. And so here's the thing. This is why I always tell my patient, if anything is advertised to you on your TV, it's garbage. They did not put their money into the art, research, and development behind the scenes. They put it into advertising. And so you want to go directly to a chiropractic office, maybe a health food store. A lot of them are source their stuff really well, or go to one of our full script accounts and be able to get any supplements that you're trying to take, get it from that source, because it will be the same price. It's not like they're super extra expensive because they come from a really good brand. It's just, we have stuff that's biousable for the body, very affordable, to get a month's supply of whatever you need. And it's worth every single bit of investment that you put into the supplementation. Of course, we want you to eat well first. So supplements are supplemental to what you're eating. So anyway, super important.
Well, and to your point about the fish oil, is it, if you're burping it up, it's probably already rancid. So here's the other thing, because I know the quality of the fish oil that I provide for you, if you burp up mine, now I know you have a digestive problem because I know it's not my product. I know it's how you're processing the product. So that's another big reason too, is that, we utilize our supplements to help us manage and diagnose and get signals of what is it that your body ultimately needs. What are you struggling with? What is it deficient in? And how can we fill the resource tank again? And if you end up taking, let's say the patient or the person, she was an Advil person, the Advil person, and she stopped, and you said her kidney function has come up a little bit, and that's great. And let's say somebody was like, you should start taking a multivitamin. That is not the time for a maintenance dose of anything. Like, you need therapeutic doses to get your body back to where it needs to be to optimize. And you guys, that could take months. It could take up to a year, depending on how long these people have been depleting their resources. So it is critical to make sure that you understand that, like, question that the next time you walk into your bathroom or your kitchen or wherever your over the counters are, and you grab that because you're like, oh, I have an acre of pain, or I'm afraid. I had a guy tell me he takes 2 Advil before he goes golfing so he doesn't, in case he gets sore. Your body's supposed to get sore. Like, and we've had this conversation about the constant continuous pursuit of comfort. Like, just stop it. Allow your body to feel some soreness and stiffness and tension, and know that you've worked your body. That's actually a good thing. That's a good thing. So don't dismiss that.
Yeah. And when we do take something like that, we use the analogy of, okay, so you're driving along and your check engine light comes on in your car. You do not take a piece of electrical tape and put it over your check engine light. Not one of us would do that without realizing the down the pipeline effects of doing that. Like, we would not do that to the vehicle that we are trying to get around in the world in our regular vehicle. We should not be doing that with our bodies as a vehicle as well. Do not put a piece of electrical tape over your check engine light. I had the greatest question this morning from a patient. So they have been she got married last summer. They're going on their honeymoon this summer. They're going to Bali for 2 weeks. They're leaving in 2 weeks from now. She said, how do I get through, she said, if you were traveling, what would you make sure that you have with you so that you could avoid what they refer to, and I never heard this before, Bali belly, which is basically like Montezuma's revenge, just not in Mexico, in Bali. And so I was like, the best thing that you can do for that 2-week period that you're there is make sure that your body, there's tons you can do, but make sure that your body's being able to digest whatever it is. When we go to a different country, one of the greatest things we can take with us is going to be digestive enzymes. And I was telling her the story. I stopped when I was flying back from South America one time. I had a layover, cannot remember where, but we got out of the plane, out of the airport. It was like 6 hour, went across the street and had a burger. And then went to the bathroom and could see where this burger was coming from in the back of the restaurant, sourced, covered in flies. And I'm not kidding. Of course, they cooked it and all of that, but I was like, so I took 3 digestive enzymes. I gave 3 to my friend and off we went and we were fine. But I've had other patients go to other countries and their bodies are like, what in the world is this? And then their entire 2 weeks in Bali or wherever, South America, Peru and stuff like that is ruined, because if they would have just packed one little piece to sort of help, not that it helps everything, but I just loved that question this morning, because there's a gajillion things. You need your immune system boosted. You need this, you need that. But if you could take one thing, amoebic dysentery. Ugh.
Yeah, it's increasing the acid in your stomach so that your body can kill off the bacteria. And frankly, most people have gut issues because they don't have enough stomach acid to begin with. So now you don't even need to go to another country to get parasites anymore these days. There's parasites everywhere. So I feel like we all should be taking digestive enzymes every single day. And I'm talking about there's 2 kinds. You want to take betaine HCl, which increases the HCl in your stomach. And then you also want to take your pancreatic enzymes, which are lipase, amylase, and papain. Sorry, I always forget that one. So it's those like papaya, which is why I can't eat papaya because it tastes like vomit to me.
Digestive
So
enzymes.
yeah, it's so gross.
Actually, I love being able to have the chewable papaya enzyme on board sometimes. I don't have that in my office, but I do sometimes like to have that, or, someone really young is, whatever, not taking like a hefty digestive enzyme as a teenager, but just to help their body. So yeah, so kind of sideswiped that one, but it was a really interesting conversation to have. And I just loved that she was thinking ahead and being proactive. Of course, she's been adjusted twice this week, twice next week, twice the week after is the plan, and then go away for 2 weeks. And I don't know how long that flight is, like 30 some hours, whatever it is, to get to Bali. And then coming back and getting reestablished with her spine and her nervous system and all the things. So yeah, it's good. I love patients like that.
Would pumpkin seeds and black walnut hull tea help against parasites? I know pumpkin seeds are high in zinc. I know pumpkin is a natural anti-parasitic, but I don't know about the seed, honestly. But black walnut, anything black walnut is anti-parasitic. So.
I know garlic. You can take garlic capsules. I like to do the odorless garlic capsules because I don't like to smell like garlic, but that's really helpful for just general parasite health too. So, yeah.
So the bottom line is, when you are continually reaching for some kind of medication, anything over the counter is a medication. If you're taking something just, again, prophylactically, like a daily baby aspirin, maybe you just need fish oil in your life. I mean, when we look at it, you start to deplete. One of the questions that Tio Mimo said earlier was nutritional deficiencies are often the cause of disease. And I said, always, but it's usually the downstream effect from the actual cause. So what was the actual cause? Taking Tylenol every day, taking Advil every day for your whole life, taking some other kind of medication, drinking sodas every day, having Gatorade every day. I mean, there's so many different paths that we can go down with that, and that causes nutritional depletion. But we have to also just be mindful, like just coming back to this topic, is that it's those little things each and every day that you think are harmless that they really aren't. And the story that Dr. Erica told about this woman and her kidneys, that is not an isolated story. That is a very, very common story. And people have died of kidney failure because they've gotten themselves into trouble, because at some point there is a point of no return on that. And if you want to make sure that you're like, if that is your picture, you're like, oh my God, I've been taking this every day forever, then let's stop that. Let's replenish the body of what it's missing, and let's get your nervous system regulated again. So finding yourself a good chiropractor. And obviously, if you're in our area, we are happy to see you. And again, what Dr. Erica said about our full script accounts is that we're always happy. We have a solid line of supplementation that can actually bypass a lot of those things that that those over the counters are stealing from you. So
yeah, I was thinking about one more thing. I mean, obviously adding in adjustments to help with that. What was I thinking? It was about the kidneys. Oh, when I was thinking about this particular patient, so she's going to be one that goes in for a yearly physical. And so 1 year prior would have been, I guess, November 2024. If I'm just doing deductive reasoning here, she probably went in a year prior to that, and maybe her numbers were all fine. And that's how much damage can happen in 1 year's time, because it wasn't alarming the year before, but now all of a sudden after this year, and I know she's been taking, I don't know her, she's not a patient of mine, But I don't know how long she was taking it. But it's also like if a year before at a previous physical, it was okay. Now it's down to the low 40% function. That is terrifying. And try chiropractic.
Well, that goes to, I've told this story before about titration. This my
Yes.
favorite experiment in chemistry, and we took potassium permanganate, which is purple, and we took a clear liquid, which I don't think was water. I think it was another chemical. So what the experiment was, we had to drip one drop at a time into this clear liquid, and it was one drop. So you drip, 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 and we had to count the drops, and then one drop, it went from clear to purple after like 100 drops or whatever it was.
Right.
But the point of that is that it still looked like a clear liquid. It looked totally fine and it looked totally normal, but it only took one more drop to turn it purple. And that's what happens is you go in and you're like, oh, everything's fine. I can just keep doing this. Or even like people, doctors will say, oh yeah, you're taking this medication. Make sure you come in every 6 months so we can monitor your kidney and your liver function. Well, your alarm bells should go off completely. How about we do something that doesn't have potential to cause damage to my liver and my kidneys so that I don't have to come in every 6 months and have it monitored? Like, ask yourself that question.
Right. I mean, that goes right into what we see a lot with pain and symptoms is like, I'm just going to go in for a steroid shot. Well, okay, do that if you want to, but realize those are only safe to do about 4 total and 3 months apart. Like, red flag bells and whistles should be going off absolutely everywhere in your life. And all it does is it starts to degenerate the joint. I think there's some research out about it now. I think it's 4 years and like 3 days later, you'll get a joint replacement from your first steroid shot. Like that's the research that's actually showing that. I think that's the numbers, but I would have to look that up for sure. But if you are doing anything that you couldn't do daily, be questioning it. Or if you're doing something daily and like be questioning all the things, you could get adjusted daily easily. We're not adding anything to the system. We're not taking anything from the system. We're not creating toxicities in the system. We're not doing anything to the liver or kidneys except for helping them function better, adding in good lifestyle choices, and you've got yourself an entirely different existence in the world and an entirely different 5 years from now, entirely different 10 years from now, 20, 30, an entirely different life.
And we've never been recalled.
We've never been recalled.
There was a time that Tylenol got pulled off the market for a minute because it was causing so much damage to people. But then remember that it was like, I don't know if it was contaminated. I can't remember. This was a few years ago. But there's plenty of medications that, and Vioxx, do you remember the whole Vioxx scandal? Vioxx was given to people as a pain medication. How about just send them to the chiropractor? That drug alone killed over 60,000 people and was pulled off the market for killing so many people.
I think Celebrex was
Celebrex like that too. Yeah. And here's the thing, when they test these medications, they know it's going to kill a certain amount of people, but they also know they're going to get a certain amount of revenue that is going to offset how many people they're going to have to pay out to kill. Like, they go into this knowing it's going to kill people. So if you know that there's this, I don't know if I want to say the word devious, but I'm like, I could not work for a company like if as chiropractors, if we were like, well, yeah, we kill 10 out of every 100 people we adjust. It's fine because we're going to save 90. It's fine. And, we're going to make a ton of money on those 90 people, but it's okay that we kill 10. What? We don't do that. And yet medicine does this. The drug companies do this all day long. Yeah, we're going to kill 10% of our people, but we're going to make this amount of money, so we're good.
Yeah, well, the great thing about being a chiropractor is, number one, we get to be people's favorite part of their week. So we both love that. Secondly, we know that we're only adding in, and because of that, we sleep well at night. We sleep well. I love that too. The FDA, they recall everything they first approved. So yeah, we
Mhm.
just wanted to kind of spin it all the way back around and want to just continue to ask, like, if you're taking pain medication, you're taking something daily, be questioning it, because it is not without I don't ever even like to use side effects. Like, they're effects. It's not side
Mhm.
effects. They just sort of
Mhm.
called it that to make it look like it's like on the
Yeah.
side, like your
While
mashed potatoes
people are
on
dancing
the
and
side of your
singing on the
steak.
commercial.
It's like the mashed potatoes on the side of your steak. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's the actual effects. So
Mhm.
yeah, you can probably
Yeah.
roll it
So I
up.
think, yeah, that's a good place to wrap it up. So after you hear this and you start asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why would I take, if you are taking some kind of over the counter on a regular basis, ask yourself why. Then ask yourself, why is this happening? And the beauty of chiropractic is that it actually, because we're helping the nervous system regulate better, that it starts to heal itself. So it starts to manage those pain
Right.
pathways. So people who get under chiropractic care, they're like, oh my God, I've been in pain for years. This is amazing. Wow. So to all the benefits, not even side effects, not even, it's all the effects of chiropractic care. And the one thing Dr. Eric forgot to mention is we've never been recalled or pulled off the market.
Yeah,
So
you got it.
we got lots that we can hang our hat on. Um, all right, you guys, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. You're amazing. Thanks everybody so much for being here once again this week, and we will see you on the next one.
Sounds good. Have a great week.